Hello my beautiful friends and welcome back to my channel. Officially today, the day that I'm uploading this video, the Chanel Tweed eyeshadow collection has launched. So you're going to be able to find it not only at boutiques, at their website, also certain retailers, they're going to carry the tweets. I will be leaving all the details, the links where to find this collection on the description box below for your convenience, because I know this is a very sought after collection and I'm pretty sure it's gonna sell out pretty fast. And that's the same reason why on today's video I'm gonna be ranking the Chanel tweeds, because I have already reviewed all the tweeds on a separate video. So if you haven't watched that video, I have you right there. Swatches, eyeshadow looks with each of the tweeds. And today, to complete the series of the Chanel Tweed collection, I'm going to be doing comparisons too. So I'm not only going to rank these eyeshadow quads, but also I'm going to be comparing it with other palettes that I have here in my collection. That way, this serves you as a guide. If you are really eyeing a quad, but you're uncertain, you're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And you're not a Chanel collector. You're not planning to pick all of them, or you're not a makeup collector in general, but you're very attracted to have something so iconic as a tweed eyeshadow quad, at least as an eyeshadow quad from Chanel. So let's go ahead and get started. The position number 4 goes to O2 Tweed Pourpre. Yep, this is the eyeshadow quad that I was the most excited for. And to me, and this is all personal, okay? So please do not take it like, oh, why you're saying this if you have already tried them, because I know some people have been able to get their hands on it a little bit beforehand. This doesn't have anything to do, this is just personal preference. I think this eyeshadow quad, just as all the other tweets, honestly, they are beautiful, truly beautiful. This is just so soft, and it's not the softness that it makes me feel like, I don't know, I don't like it that much. It's not about that. I think more than anything, it is how they blend on the eyelids. They are just, at the end, all the eyeshadows on this quad, they start to becoming very alike, kind of the same. But the positive note is that you don't need to use all 4 eyeshadows from any eyeshadow palette, whether you have 4, 10, 12. You don't need to mix them in and do a rainbow or feel obligated to use everything. You can just use 1 or 2 or 3, doesn't matter, you do you. On my review, I use all 4 because I really wanted to see the texture, how everything blends, how much depth I was able to achieve with the eyeshadow quad. And honestly, everything looks pretty much, equal, very balanced and equal. The positive note, like I was telling you, is that yes, you don't need to use all of them, and all of the shades are actually very pretty. I love that slight nuances between the mauve tone, a little bit of this copper, a little bit more of kind of like a, not purpley, but a little bit more plummy tone, and then a little bit more of this warm kind of melon tone. It looks very lovely. And another thing too is that the formula of this quad is very soft. So if you have more of fine lines on your eyelids, or more mature, like I like to say, more experienced skin, then you will find this eyeshadow palette to be ideal, because it doesn't emphasize any texture, any of the fine lines. It's very soft, it's more ethereal, it's more calm, and it's not pink in tone. It's just a very lovely palette. Like I said, none of these palettes are bad palettes. It's just a preference. Now, in terms of comparisons, a lot of you had asked me, what about compared to Warm Memories, another Chanel quad? And as you can tell, no, they are different. I think the main difference right here is that you have a very deep shade. that it actually gives a lot more depth to the eyeshadow look. They do have, I mean, they are familiar. They can be on the same family, but they are not equal. Now, an eyeshadow palette that I have that actually reminds me quite a bit of the Color Story is this beauty from VCR. This is Paris Edit. And I'm in a specific swatch in this shade, this, and this shade. But with VCR, this is a makeup artist brand, and therefore you're going to find more pigmentation. There you have it. You see, it has a lot more to give. And then even if you want more pigment, well, you can go to a Pat McGrath eyeshadow palette and then you will get a lot more pigmentation. Now, some of you had asked me about Majestic Rose from Guerlain, the new one, but this definitely, it's a totally different eyeshadow quad. This has a lot more pigment. It is more, oh my goodness. Let me remove this. And it's just different. It's more pink. I mean, you can tell there's not even too much to compare about it. Then I thought to myself, some of the Dior eyeshadow palettes, and one of them that kind of like caught my eye was Pink Sakura. And if you know Pink Sakura, it was a amazing eyeshadow palette that only was available for I think hours before it was all gone. Now with your Sakura, you don't have that peachy tone. And as you can tell, it has more depth, but at the same time, you have a balance of lighter tones too. And then you had also asked me for Tutu from Dior. No, no, there's a little bit more warmth on the palette from Chanel. This is more cool tone. Definitely, definitely different, completely different. There you have it, my friends. These are the comparisons, and those were the reasons why I rank Chanel Tweed number 2 in the 4th place. Now going into the 3rd place is the Tweed 03 Fauve. Very beautiful color story. I know this is so pretty, but for some reason, perhaps as we go more into the fall season, I will get more excited about it. I don't know, but it has to do with a couple things. One, give me a very nice warm look, like a pumpkin kind of look with this beautiful metallic gold shade, very creamy, super soft, super like just it's a very pretty palette. And a little bit sultry too, with this gorgeous tone here, which is more kind of like a eggplant maroon kind of shade that is lovely. But again, it's very subtle, it's not going to give you too much of too much. I think the only shade is the metallic shade, which is more like not even metallic, kind of like a satin gold shade. It's very pretty, but I feel like it needed something extra, and that something extra is the other two palettes that we're going to talk about in a minute. But now going into comparisons, I think I mentioned it during my review that it kind of gave me a little bit of a vibe of Tom Ford Cognac Sable. Now, this eyeshadow palette, it's been discontinued. It's not anymore available. And in fact, mine, it's old and it doesn't even have a lot of pigment. So I'm going to swatch it, but I know the pigmentation is not going to be the best. But oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. I don't know why it reminds me a little bit, although the shades are not the same. I think it was because of this tone right here. It kind of gave me that vibe. But Cognac Sable, it's a lot more deep, a lot more intense. But at the same time, you have, you know, a little bit of this. You see how bad this shade swatch? It's just so old. Honestly, I need to declutter it, but I I don't want to declutter it. I don't want to declutter my Cognac Sable because it's just so pretty, and I wish one day we will get again Cognac Sable, perhaps on the new creme formula. And talking about the creme formulation, I think, you know, a good counterpart of Cognac Sable is also the new Tiger Eye eyeshadow quad from Tom Ford. And then again, you see, like, alike. So this is Tiger Eye in the creme formulation, beautiful. Like, this is just so gorgeous. Oh, yeah, but I think this leans perhaps just a dash more. No, I don't know, just perhaps a dash more brown in tone. Just gonna put it up here because I still have one more eyeshadow quad that I want to show to you, and there's a little bit more of cool tone on Tiger Eye too, that it makes it different. It's not, although it looks warm, it's not as warm as this quad from Chanel. And then the last one that I wanted it to compare it to is the one in Dior Bayadère, which is from their summer collection. This is a gorgeous palette. The only thing that is missing from this, I feel, is this kind of eggplant tone, which in fact you can find it on Riviera, which is the other eyeshadow queen from Dior's summer 2022 collection. So kind of like a mix of these two right here. So let's just go for it. Like this shade here with this shade with this shade. I mean, if you do a combination, it kind of have that vibe of that Chanel Tweed number 3. I'm gonna put it right here. Yep, just a little to this Tweed. Tiny bit. Definitely not the same, but just a little bit. But now going into the second place, and honestly, this is interchangeable. This could be at a moment in time in first place and a moment in time on second place. It just depends on my mood. Honestly, could be a good tie with the first place. Honestly, to me, it's a tie. Take it as a tie, but I'm going to put it in second place because I told you that I was going to rank them. But it's not because of quality. It's not because of nothing. It's this baby right here. This is the Tweed number 1 Tweed Cuivre. And if you know my friends, this is my type of color story. So for me to put it in a second place is like, what? No way. That's why I said it's definitely a tie. To me, it's a tie. But yeah. Yeah, it's just so hard to give it a second place because it's just so beautiful. It's nothing out of this world. It has some bronzy tones. It's more bronze with a little bit of taupe or like an antique gold shade. Oh, the beauty of this palette is that you have satin, metallic, and then this taupe shade that it will just give you some glistening to your eyes. It's just so extremely gorgeous. If you want that golden goddess kind of look, very seductive, very kind of mysterious, this will give it to you. Just so pretty. It's just so beautiful. It's so well done. It's just extremely well done. There's nothing wrong of this palette. In fact, I already placed my order for a backup. Not that I need it, but because, as you can tell, it's losing the beauty of the tweed. I never call myself a collector, but I feel like this collection is just so special that I want to keep pristine at least my 2 favorite ones. And if I have to compare it, I have to go no matter what to Tom Ford Suspicion. And if you know, my friends, this is perhaps my favorite Tom Ford eyeshadow palette. It's gorgeous, stunning. It gives me that kind of JLo vibe. It's just mesmerizing. And anytime that I have used it on someone else, people just compliment it. Now, it's not equal. Definitely it's not equal. There's, as you can tell, there's differences. It has a little bit more intriguing factor in terms of like cool tone. This one, it just plays a different aspect, but they are alike in terms of the finished look, what it gives you at the end of the game. And then another palette that kind of remind me to this Tweed is by Rito, and this one is Disco. Gorgeous, gorgeous eyeshadows, very creamy, silky, super, super beautiful. So I'm gonna swatch these. I'm just gonna swatch all of them, might as well, just for you to see. But yes, very, very alike to these Tweed. Super creamy, soft. I mean, like I'm missing from Byredo. So I cannot wait to see if they are gonna come up for something for these holidays. But there you have it. There's similarities. I definitely can tell you that on this specific eyeshadow quad and the other two eyeshadow quads that I already went for, I cannot find like exactly the same dupe. It's not like, oh, this is exactly the same, equal. No, there's similarities, but they are not equal. Now to the first place, or to the tie to the Cuivre palette, right? And the one that I'm wearing today. The one, I think this was a kind of like a gift right here of which one was going to be on the first place. And this is it. Tweed Brun Rose. Oh, I know. It looks very boring, very simple, very like blah, cool tone. But this palette makes you feel a certain way. It's just, for some reason, some cool tone palettes, I don't know, it just lift me up. They are very elegant and they just give a very, I don't know how to explain it, but a very elegant impression. It's just very elevated, the look that you get with this eyeshadow palette. And it's a type of color story that I love. In fact, we have all of these to compare to. So let's go ahead and compare it. Reason why I'm putting it on the first place and I decided it above Tweed Cuivre is because of that elegance, and perhaps because I see this palette mostly for fall and winter time, mostly winter, and it's a palette that again it just gives me that elegance. It's soft, it's gentle. You have these beautiful nuances between these taupey tones that you can use them all alone. They are satin shades that they just give the most beautiful glistening to the eyes, and this topper shade that just give a, it just gives something extra, an extra shine and aura effect that is incredible. And then this shade, I'm very, very happy with it because for being a deep shade, sometimes these kind of deep tones can act very patchy. They are not easy to blend and not easy to apply. And the very opposite on this specific shade here. It actually works really nice knowing with which type of brush you should use it to. And like I said, I have a ton of other palettes on my collection that have that same vibe as Brun Rose. And obviously the first one that comes into mind is Nude Deep by Tom Ford. There's a lot of Tom Ford here, huh? Oh, Tom Ford. Tom Ford, Tom Ford. In a way, I feel they are similar, but I find out that perhaps Tom Ford Nude Deep is a little bit more cooler, more, shouldn't say icy, but just cooler, while the Brun Rose, it has a little bit more warmth into it, just a little bit more brown, perhaps, that it just plays still cool, but not so like extremely cool. And talking about Tom Ford, I have a couple right here, but one that I really thought, hey, you know, this is when I applied it, give me this vibe is First Frost, one of my favorite eyeshadow quads from Tom Ford. And this was part of a holiday collection. I think it was last year's holiday collection. And it has this pinky tone. Now the formulation from Tom Ford, the wet and dry formula, is ethereal, but it does have a lot of pigment even when applying it dry. This is First Frost Brun et Rose. Gorgeous. And just in case, I think I didn't show it to you, but here they are side by side. And then going into Chanel Quad Tissé Rivoli. Here's Tissé Rivoli. As you can tell, Brun et Rose, it has a little bit more of that brown tone. Well, these ones play just a little bit more cool. Here's Tissé Rivoli, right over here. And then we have Brun et Rose here. Then we have the new eyeshadow quad from Guerlain in Imperial Moon. Another beautiful cool tone palette. I'm just gonna swatch it on my other arm. Running out of space. This is just gorgeous. And I think cool tones, they are just gonna become even more and more stronger. This is Brun et Rose. We're just gonna see more cool tone palettes. I have a feeling. I see it in different cases, like the new Pat McGrath eyeshadow palette, the new Mothership palette. We have seen a few sneak peeks from Dior's holiday collection. Pretty much both eyeshadows, they are cool tone. Talking about Dior, I thought also on Soft Cashmere, but I feel like Soft Cashmere again doesn't have that warmth, and it doesn't have this beautiful pinky shade. It even has a little bit this, although taupey tone, it does have a little bit of like a lavender kind of undertone. And this one is not really pink, but more of like a soft ivory shade. Again, here is Brun et Rose and Soft Cashmere. From Tom Ford, let's talk about this new one, Rose Topaz. Very alike. Now, there's an interchange right here. This shade on this formula is not a taupe shade, but yet there's some similarities for sure. We have it, Rose Topaz and Brun et Rose. Okay, and the last one, but one that I mentioned it during my review, was the Natasha Denona Glam Palette. This baby is iconic, an iconic palette. And the shades that I'm swatching is this one, oh, put my nail on it, this one, and this one. A lot more intense for sure. That's the nature of this palette. Like super intense, like yeah, super intense. Definitely there are some similarities, even I should say, like this quad right here. If we go back to Chanel's Tweed Cuivre, you see this quad here is very alike to the Tweed Cuivre. We can swatch it just because we're here with this big palette. So I have here the Tweed Cuivre by Chanel. And I'm gonna go with this shades from Natasha. Not the same, but I like. As you can tell, it's alike. That being said, although Natasha Denona Glam eyeshadow palette can give you the same vibe as both Tweed Cuivre and Tweed Brun et Rose, this is a different beast. Natasha Denona is high shine, impactful, a lot of pigment, great formulation. But if you are a little bit either of a beginner or you're gifting these eyeshadow tweets to someone, and perhaps you know that they are not very dive into makeup and they want something soft, or they just don't use very loud makeup, this could work just perfectly because the formulation is just so easy to use. In particular, these two eyeshadow quads, I love them because of the different eyeshadow formulations, the different textures, the chances that I can use. Like, for example, even today, I use this shade Wet, and it just amplify the whole look, and it looks just so pretty. But yet I can just use this tone and this tone, or this and this. I don't have to use the whole thing. They are eyeshadows that they will give you an effortless, sophisticated look, whether you go for one of these eyeshadow quads, they have the toppers and the metallics, or whether you go for the ones that for me rank in number fourth or third place, that perhaps for some of you they will rank in first place because you don't want the toppers, you don't want that metallic. So I think in general the Tweed collection is a very well done collection because it doesn't only cater to a particular type of client, someone that just likes certain type of eyeshadows, but rather they give us different color stories with different textures, with different finishes, with different type of intensities, and that makes the whole difference. So I don't think you will go wrong with any of these eyeshadow quads. And if you want to see an eyeshadow look with each of these eyeshadow quads, then go ahead and watch my review. Be reminded that I do film in natural light, so hopefully all these comparisons, all these swatches, all these details, my other review, everything will really help you to make the best decision on which of these Tweed eyeshadows is the best for you. And with that note, my friends, I want to know from you which eyeshadow tweed you want to get your hands on, or if perhaps you're getting all four of them. Let's just continue the conversation on the comment section down below. While you're at it, and if you haven't done so yet, I want to invite you to subscribe to my channel. Make sure you ring that post notification bell so you miss any of my uploads, and come and follow me on my Instagram. If you like this video, do not forget to give it a thumbs up. Also, share with family and friends. And until the next time, I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful day. Bye-bye.